Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's partner web conference, How to Turn Your Top Creative Talent into Top Performing Teams with Adobe Creative Cloud, monday.com, and Microsoft Teams. My name is Laura, and I'm going to be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this web conference through Teams live events, and the audio can be heard through your device speakers. This session is being recorded on behalf of the Microsoft Corporation. By participating in this session using Microsoft Teams, your name, email, address, phone number, and/or title may be viewable by other session participants. If you do not consent to be part of a recorded session, please disconnect at this time. Attendees may access the web conference recording via a link that will be delivered by email within 5 to 7 business days. If you have questions for the presenters or need support, please use the Q&A panel located on the right side of your screen. We do have presenters standing by to answer your questions throughout and at the end of the session. Now, a little bit more about this presentation. This web conference has been brought to you by the Microsoft 365 Partner Marketing Team. This presentation will be approximately 35 minutes in length, and our presenters will then switch over to Q&A and start addressing any unanswered questions. We'd like to thank you in advance for your patience while they work through those. If you find that your question was not answered or would like more follow-up, you can also head over to the Microsoft 365 Yammer group and post your questions there. We will share that Yammer link in the Q&A panel momentarily. Thank you for your patience during these announcements. Now, on to our presentation. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Daniel Canning, Director, Microsoft Teams Platform. Daniel, over to you.
Thank you, Laura. It's great to be here, and thank you for joining us, everybody. We're excited to talk to you today about how you can turn your creative teams into really top performing teams. We have some exciting partners with us here as well today, both from monday.com and from Adobe Creative Cloud. I think we all know the digital transformation that we've been on lately and how we are using tools differently. And we want to show you today how we can use those multiple platforms, great cloud platforms, for your creative teams, pull those together, and integrating those come up with even better outcomes for our customers and really for our clients. Today's with us, taking us through this journey, we'll have some great demos and not only share some concepts with you, but actually show you how these 3 great platforms can come together for your own teams, but also driving better outcomes for our clients and customers. We have Juan from monday.com, Nelson as well from monday.com, and Minson from Adobe talking about Creative Cloud. As was mentioned at the beginning, my name is Daniel Canning. I work on Teams as a platform and focus how we can work with great partners like monday.com and Adobe on how we can really integrate all of our investments in new ways of working. I'm sure, as many of you know, joining this meeting for example, on a Teams live event, that Teams has had really exceptional growth over the last year or so. Just the way that current conditions have really pushed digital transformation. We have all types of teams that have learned to work remotely, including creative teams, right? That are normally very collaborative as you solve problems for clients and work on projects together. Teams have seen that same kind of growth across the enterprise. This is a typical big number slide that we have. Showing you the number of, over 115 million people that are in Teams every day. And of course, a lot of those workloads around voice, video, chat, but beyond just those core workloads, for you think about how a lot of people are using Teams across the enterprise and education spaces. It's also something that can be used not just to stay connected, voice, video we know really well, a way to have chat and collaboration, but also a way we can actually bring business processes together. So that may mean that you have other great cloud products that you're using to deliver your work, create your work. A monday.com, for example, for files, sharing, task, visualization, communication as your team, and of course Adobe Creative Cloud for on the creative side of that. And you can actually pull all those together and have seamless workflows, and that's what we'll talk about and show in more detail today. And one thing that I'll highlight, kind of emphasize as well, you can see on the slide here talking about security and compliance. And of course, when you think about the backbone for what we deliver on Microsoft 365 services, Teams being one of those, is all the security and compliance you would expect, whether that's GDPR, whether that's industry specific ones, from FedRAMP, from anything you would have for healthcare, HIPAA, etc. We have the security and compliance behind the scenes as well. A core thing that we like to think about Teams and a way to really start to move it up kind of value to you as a customer and to your customers is not just something that is handling your meetings, joining voice video meetings, but a place where you can stay in the flow of work, how you can bring in tasks and operations from other great services, all with how you work, kind of reducing, if you will, the virtual chair swiveling that you often have to do as you're kind of going between products, but be able to use best of breed products, pulling those together in this single platform. We're excited to show you how this is very relevant for creative teams, driving those great outcomes. And so we'll walk not only through these concepts as we're sharing right now, but have a really great video to show you how that can all come together. So first up, we'll actually start with Adobe Creative Cloud. We have Minson here with us from Adobe. He will talk a little bit about how we think about Adobe Creative Cloud as that core platform, and then of course our great partners also from monday.com to really kind of tie this all together and show us a great demo for this. So Minson, I'll hand it over to you and let you take it away.
Thanks, Daniel. It's so great to see the Teams platform continue to gain adoption, and I'm really excited about what this means for creative teams using both Adobe and Microsoft in their daily workflows. So let's shift gears a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about creativity, customer experience, then touch on Adobe Creative Cloud for those who aren't so familiar with Adobe. So creativity. I'll start with this left brain, right brain graphic, which I really love. And for me, it's a really great way to think about creativity in your organization, because you really need the combination of both creative skills and the ability to organize, manage tasks, and collaborate, all the left brain stuff to produce great work and digital experiences that are going to delight and engage your customers. Experiences like, that big ad campaign you see and share with friends, or a billboard that makes you stop and share, or an event that you can't wait to attend. But it's not just the big experiences, it's also the everyday stuff. An email you open, or a push notification to your phone, or perhaps a conversation with a chatbot when shopping online. If you work on a creative team, you know that producing content that powers experiences, whether big or small, it doesn't happen in isolation. You need to share work, get feedback, and collaborate with many others, like copywriters, marketers, developers, product managers, and business stakeholders for review and approval. And it's an iterative process that you painstakingly do over and over until that final deliverable is just right. It's not easy pushing things across the finish line. Customer experience. So we know that people don't buy products, they buy experiences. And today, experience is everything. And you're likely under increasing pressure to create meaningful and personalized experiences at every stage of that customer journey. And it's a big challenge. And because what's powering these experiences is content, the demand for content creation is skyrocketing. Creatives are saying that they're creating 5 times more content today than they were 5 years ago. And the growing number of platforms and surfaces we have to engage customers on continues to grow. So you need to create content not only on the properties that you own, like websites and in-app surfaces, but also on the latest social platform, whether that's Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, or something new. And with each surface, the variations of content that you need to produce start to grow exponentially, not only in volume, but in complexity. And personalizing this content generates even more permutations. And at Adobe, we call this the content velocity problem. And if you're like most marketing and product design teams, this is one of your biggest challenges. You're asked to do more and to do it faster to meet that insatiable demand coming from customers. Customers that are consulting over 10 sources of content before making a purchase decision, for example, according to a recent study. When you think Adobe, you might think of Photoshop or other flagship apps, but it's really much more. Adobe Creative Cloud is It's really our platform that helps unleash creativity across your organization by enabling anyone, anywhere to access the tools to build beautiful, usable, and cohesive customer experiences. And what Adobe Creative Cloud includes is desktop and mobile apps. It's a collection of 20 plus desktop and mobile apps and services for photography, design, video, web, UX design, and more. And mobile apps are also part of the multi-surface system like Lightroom, where you can work across web, mobile, and tablets. These multi-surface systems optimize creative workflows for efficiency and quality. And what's also included is an integrated marketplace for images with Adobe stock, 3D assets, motion graphic templates, and audio assets. So creatives never have to start with a blank page. And Creative Cloud services like Creative Cloud Libraries, which makes reusable assets like colors, character styles, and components that define style guides or design systems directly accessible, but not only in Adobe apps, but also in third-party apps like Microsoft Teams, Word, and PowerPoint, so you can manage and organize and reuse creative assets across your entire creative journey. And across it all, Adobe Sensei uses AI and machine learning to help people get their work done and even faster. So with Creative Cloud, you can give anyone and everyone across your enterprise the tools they need to create and collaborate together. And what do I mean by anyone? Well, it's not just the creative leaders and professionals, of course, who develop your extraordinary award-winning campaigns and products, but it's also the business communicators who sit in functions like marketing and sales, PR, legal, finance, and HR, who use Creative Cloud to elevate their everyday communications. Whether that's presentations and reports, social media posts, and sales enablement tools. In today's modern workplace, everyone in the organization is a creator and part of that creative process, using tools like Creative Cloud, Microsoft Teams, and monday.com at various points in the end-to-end workflow that really brings the content to life. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Nelson to talk about how to tackle the challenges of managing creative work and demo how Creative Cloud, Teams, and monday.com work together to create that ultimate workspace for creative collaboration. Nelson?
Thank you, Vincent. I'm excited to talk about monday.com as a work operating platform where teams can plan, run, and track any of their projects, processes, and initiatives all in one place. Monday enables teams to get more work done faster and bridge organizational silos and distance. It's a code-free, intuitive, and visual solution. The platform provides the flexibility to build and adapt to any workflow and fit thousands of use cases. But a great amount of our clients utilize monday.com to manage their marketing and creative work. So why are we all here today? Why do we want to boost content and create better work efficiency? According to Gartner, marketing teams spend roughly 30% of their budgets on content creation to feed a wide range of engagement initiatives, from advertising and content marketing to product marketing and sales collateral. Yet content production is often slowed by inefficiencies arising from common pain points native to the marketing and creative workflows. While working closely with thousands of marketing and creative execs in the last couple of years, we at Adobe, Microsoft, and monday.com have gained incredible insights on how content and creative teams can achieve operational excellence, and most importantly, what's required to turn top-notch talents into a top-performing team. We practically based the solution on all of these insights that we collected. So, what are some of the top challenges that we've identified? First, unsurprisingly, we hear that many struggle to manage high volume of work. Even when you have a strong editorial plan in place with clear priorities and business goals, your team is constantly being asked for one more blog post, another white paper, an additional landing page, and so on. And many times you're expected to deliver under tight deadlines. The second thing we see, when there's no standard process for assigning, reviewing, editing, and approving content, it becomes hard to remove bottlenecks, to optimize your spend, and track production time. It's almost impossible. If you can't track the average production time per phase, how can you get to the bottom of and improve some of your work over time? Third, many teams also report difficulty in balancing work overload. We all live and work in a fast-moving environment with limited resources. When members of the team are overloaded, marketing and creative projects can suffer delays and missed deadlines. Lack of transparency in a workload can lead to burnout and frustration. Fourth, it seems like it's really hard for many teams to efficiently handle creative and content work requests when an intake process is unstructured. It causes a lack of standardization and process failures. And finally, on top of all of this, everyone struggles to efficiently manage their review cycles. Producing any type of marketing content is highly dependent on feedback, and it's easily missed when work is done as comments within a file, in chat, emails, or in person. This results in more review cycles, longer production time, and lower quality assets. So what can we do about all of these? We need a way to turn operational complexity into operations simplified. This will put content and creative teams in a much better position to tackle any business challenge and easily adjust their operations when needed. All three platforms are designed with flexibility to fit many different use cases in marketing, creative, and beyond. So today we'd like to demo a complete solution for a creative workflow. We've practically packaged customers' best practices into a ready-made solution. It'll give you a jump start and give your team onboarding quickly and effectively. Yet it's flexible enough to fit your exact needs, specific workflows, and team structures. In short, designers use Adobe Creative Cloud to manage any process, and they can use the Monday platform from ideation to completion. Throughout the process, the stakeholders share the deliverables with clients, internal resources, and external resources through Microsoft Teams. And who's it for exactly? Marketing leadership can get an overview of their team's work in progress, make informed decisions, and ensure everyone is aligned around the same goals and moving in the right direction. Second, the creative team leads, content marketing professionals, copywriters, product designers, digital teams, and anybody who's responsible for generating any type of marketing content or driving the creative solution. No less important are the contributors, the vendor partners, and the freelancers, all of whom benefit from more streamlined creative processes, which we'll touch more on in the demo. Lastly, any business stakeholder inside or outside the marketing team can gain visibility into the progress of deliverables, inputs, and effectively store and search their shared files. Now let's go ahead and see this demonstration of the solutions working together. I work for a creative team that manages our entire process using monday.com, Microsoft Teams, and the Adobe Creative Cloud. In Monday, we manage our new business and RFP intake, our account management, creative, and production processes, as well as our go live and reporting process, all in Monday with different dedicated boards. On the business side, our new business team is able to manage all of their different leads and accounts using a dedicated Monday board. But we're also able to manage intake of new requests, otherwise known as RFPs, with another dedicated board, with new incoming requests, RFPs that we've responded to, and those that we've won. When an account gets signed, it then moves to our account management, our creative, and our production boards. When a new board is created under our account management group, we track things like the campaign, the approval status. We manage who's assigned as creative and account director, as well as things like our revenue and allocated budget. We also create boards specifically for our creative team. In this board, I can easily manage who's assigned as a designer, manage our creative process, our approvals, take a look at our progress of our work items, manage assets, deadlines, timelines, and more. When I need to create new items for our production team, they have their own dedicated space where they can manage all their work items. And once a campaign is ready to go live, our campaign and ad ops team has their own dedicated board specifically for flights, campaigns, reporting, platform, budget, performance, and more. And using Monday dashboards, we can easily keep track of our different KPIs. We can see how we're trending across our projects, our clients, our tasks, and even see individual performance. Like many creative teams, we use Microsoft Teams for internal and external communication. And with the Monday integration and embedded boards, we get the best features of Monday within our Teams channels. In this embedded board, I can see all of my different projects, make changes or updates just like I normally would within Monday. If I go to our creative team channel, I see that we have a new request here from our client. She shared a new creative guideline for the landing page that we're building out for her using the Adobe Creative Cloud. I'm going to respond to her and let her know that I'm going to open up a production item as quickly as possible. Now, to add this to our production board, I don't actually need to go to Monday, but instead I'll go to our production channel in Teams, and I'll go to our embedded Monday board. Before I add this new item to our board, I'm actually going to go in and look at our workload, and I'm going to see which illustrators have availability right now to take on this task. I see between our illustrators that Juan has the largest amount of capacity, so I'm actually going to assign this to him. So I go in, I create the new request, I set our timeline, as well as our due date. I set our assignments, and I assign Juan to this project. And when I go back to our posts, I can see that a notification has been generated, letting Juan know that he's been assigned to this task.
Hey everyone, my name is Juan and I'm excited to walk you through my workflow today. I'm a creative illustrator, but part of a larger creative team that uses MS Teams, monday.com, and the Adobe Creative Cloud. We use MS Teams for all sorts of communications, monday.com to manage our daily tasks, and we use the Adobe Creative Cloud to create all sorts of awesome designs for our clients. I've got MS Teams open here, so let's jump right in. I'm going to go into the proper channel. It looks like I have something in the production team, which means I might have some work incoming, and Nelson's notification came in here in regards to a new landing page for a winter 2021 campaign. So let's just go ahead and let him know that it is on my radar and get started on it. Next is go check out the details on that piece we'll be creating for using Adobe within monday.com. And we have monday.com already within MS Teams. And I'm already referencing that client's board here where we're looking at all the production tasks, some of which I've worked on and some of them are incoming. So we'll see that this is a new request for that landing page. And we have some details, some timelines, and the asset. Wonderful. I'm just going to go ahead and download that. And next, we'll open that up in Photoshop. Now that I have Photoshop open, I can go ahead and pull up my monday.com plugin and take a look at that task. So I can have this pre-populated or search by board, but for today's work, I know that it's going to be in that winter campaign group on that board. And let me just click on the landing page since that's what we're working on today. And cool, it looks like anything relevant will be here. I'm not going to change anything here because I know I've downloaded the asset and already reviewed it. So I'm just going to go to the files and pull this up. All right, so this looks pretty good. I'll make any changes I think could improve it, but just maybe change a few things here. Let's enter this. I'll add a little bit of text to even it out. And that looks good to me. So next, I'll export it. We'll save it as a PNG this time. I'm also going to change the status so that Nelson can get a notification letting him know to review it.
Back in Teams, I can see that there's been an update made to the status for this task. It's now marked as submitted for approval. So I'm going to go into our production board and take a look at it. Juan has made updates to it, including attaching the latest version of the PSD file and a preview of the comp. I can see that it says fly over everything, but I'm pretty sure that our client wanted to say run over everything. So I briefly go back into my chat and I take a look and I confirm. The original wireframe says run over everything. So we're going to need to make some changes. When I go back to our production tasks, I want to make sure that we have availability and capacity for this task. So I go into our Gantt chart. In our Gantt chart, I can see all of our available tasks across all of our different campaigns. And I notice that we've got a couple of concurrent tasks here. This one also has one assigned to it. So in order to make up time for this task, I'm actually going to adjust the timeline by dragging and dropping this to next week. This frees up priority for Juan, and I'm able to go into this item and leave him some feedback. Now that I've left Juan an update, I'm going to move the status back to in progress, and Juan's going to get a notification that this needs to be updated.
All right, we're back, and it looks like we have a new message in the creative team channel. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up and take a look at what that might be. Okay, so it looks like Nelson might have changed it back to in progress, which tells me that there's probably some feedback and changes to make further to the landing page. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what that might look like for this particular asset and open up the Monday view. Okay, so it looks like we have a status change. Nelson may have marked it back to in progress, which tells us there's still more work to be done. And we want to change the tagline to run over everything. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. And open up Photoshop back up. I'll get that file open and we'll make that change right at the tagline to read run over everything. Okay, hopefully this will be the last version. I'll go ahead and export it, save it to the item on Monday. I'm also going to change the status to submitted for approval so Nelson can be notified that we have a new revision in.
In my production team channel, I see that Juan has responded, letting me know that he's made updates to the comp. So I'll quickly go to our board to take a look and see the latest files that he's uploaded. I see that he's marked it as submitted for approval. Before I sign off on this, I'm just going to check the comps and make sure everything looks good. I see that he's added the files as well as a preview, and I think it looks great. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to add a comment. So I'm going to get back to the client and I'm going to let her know that we have the updated version and see if we can get approval. I'm also going to attach the file from our Adobe Creative Cloud for her to review. It looks like we got the approval, which is great news. Now that we've gotten approval for this, I'm going to go back to our board and I'm going to change the status of this from submitted for approval to approved.
That's a really great demo. The thing I love about that demo is the fact that it shows everything you would have from the creative team, from actually creating the content, interaction, actually going back and forth with the client, and then even revisions, right? The thing that you're able to see there is actually having revisions being made, interaction on the team, and showing the power of having these three great clouds, these three great services for a creative team. You know, it harkens back to some of the points you know, that Nelson made early on about, you know, all creative teams are going to work under pressure. They're all going to work under requirements for lots of revisions and customer demands. But we want to have efficiencies built into our processes, but also have ways that we can have satisfied clients and deliver great products. So I love the concepts that are showed here. Like I said, showing something all the way from left to right, from being created, revised, and then getting back and collaborating with a client, and showing how these great three clouds can do that, from monday.com to Adobe Creative Cloud, to, you know, having that core collaboration features that exist with Microsoft Teams, bringing these together. So we're excited to see if you have any questions and want to learn more about this. We'll have a slide here as well that with some other ways you can get a hold of us. But we'll kind of shift over now to Q&A portion and let you see if you have any questions on how the solution was put together. But we are grateful for you taking time to spend with us on this today. And we're excited to see how we can go forward with this and have even better outcomes for our joint customers and clients. Thank you, everybody. Back to you, Laura.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. Before we go on to Q&A, I would like to draw your attention to the link to a short survey that I've posted in the Q&A panel. We welcome your input on how we did today and what you would like to see in future sessions. The survey scores are on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score possible, and we thank you for your participation in that. Now, on to our Q&A.
Perfect. And as I mentioned, kind of at the end of that, at the end of this session there too, I just want to, and I'll post this link there too. The thing I want to make sure you take away is, jump out, learn more about, you know, monday.com, specifically these great scenarios for creative teams, Adobe Creative Cloud. All of these apps, so you know, Adobe has a few of them, but you know, specifically Creative Cloud's there, and monday.com are also in App Source. You can go directly to App Source, get those apps. You can also go, if you're within Teams, you know, navigate over to your you know, the left-hand rail, and you'll be able to get to the Teams App Store, and you should be able to see both monday.com and Adobe Creative Cloud there. And then if you don't see those, push on your IT administrators to make sure that those apps are available, and those are something that's available in your organization. So just want to make sure, and I'll post this link also in the chat here. But happy to start to have some Q&A, see if there's any questions on today's presentation. Once again, thank you. It's fantastic to partner with other great SaaS providers thinking about this creative space and thinking about how we can all work kind of in the ways we are now.
Great. I can start with some of the questions here. We have a question about how we got Monday board within Teams, and this is just through the MS Teams app. I'll maybe just publish the question along with a link on a little bit more information, but really how you connect the two is either through an integration that we offer natively, as well as the monday.com app that you can install within your MS Teams.
I'll jump in here too. This is Dan. Just kind of there was a question talking about you know, what is a question that often comes up is, hey, maybe I have subcontractors, maybe I have other parts of my creative team who aren't part of my Teams instance, right? Who maybe aren't kind of in your AD. You can have guests, you know, join your team, so you're able to have guests join your team, your subcontractors. Other parties can actually participate in uploading content and just participating in your creative team as well. So make sure to highlight that there is a way to have guest access enabled and have your subcontractors also participate in your team.
And this is Vincent. I'll jump in. There's a question on if you work on a creative team that uses Adobe Creative Cloud, but you work with a lot of others, whether that's copywriters, marketers, developers, or product managers, and other business stakeholders to get feedback and for review and approval. But not everyone's licensed for Creative Cloud. Are you able to install and use the Creative Cloud integration with Teams? And the short answer is yes. The Creative Cloud app for Teams, it's available to all users of Adobe Creative Cloud, including those on free plans. And the free plan comes with a host of benefits, and that includes, I think it's 2 gigabytes of storage with file syncing and sharing features. So designers can access the Creative Cloud files and libraries in Adobe apps, and business stakeholders can access them those same files and libraries in Microsoft Teams, Word, or PowerPoint, even without a Creative Cloud license. And also want to point out that the monday.com plugins and extensions, they are free, but they run inside Adobe Creative Cloud creation apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, and Premiere Pro. So your creative team will need to be licensed for that.
I'll jump in. One more question that came across just as far as like the mobile experience and notifications. So the mobile experience for Microsoft Teams notifications are the same ones you'd get on any device, so that client persists as far as its notifications. So there's a question just on if the creative director wanted to get or see those same kind of notifications, would they get those on the mobile device? And yes, those carry through that experience.
And just to follow up on that, this is Nelson from Monday. In addition to getting notifications that are triggered in your Monday board and get shown in your Teams channel, you can also get direct notifications sent to you in your chat channel.
Yeah, and that's very efficient. I would highlight maybe just even kind of a little bit of a testimonial, like we used a lot of monday.com kind of collaboration going back and forth, and then Teams as well, even as we do things like planning this this webinar together with this virtual team.
Okay, there was a question asked about how a marketing team working with freelancers through shareable boards and how we can ensure freelancers can see just the relevant information shared. So it's a great question. This kind of just harkens back to the permissions you can set for those shareable boards. So whether you're translating some of those updates with that freelancer, you can definitely lock and set permissions across that shareable board so that the internal team sees what they need to see, and the external stakeholder, in this case that freelancer, maybe will see and or edit just what relates to them. All the while you can continue to translate that information with Adobe, MS Teams, or whatever internal workflow you've set up.
There was a question with somebody missing a couple of things at the beginning. I think just to also highlight what Laura hit at the end there. This will be available on demand as well. We'll have a link out there here within the next few days.
I think Teresa asked, did you actually upload the PSD to Monday? And the question there is yes. We did this actually through the plugin within Photoshop. So I saved that new version through the plugin as I finished it, and then it was updated within Monday for the creative director to review.
There was one more question that someone had, and it was, hey, that they're using Monday today and also Adobe. How does Teams come into this if somebody is Apple centric? The thing I would highlight is Microsoft Teams as voice, video, communication, collaboration platform. Really works across all platforms. It doesn't matter if you're on Apple, you're on Mac products by Apple, if you're on PC, and then as you go over to mobile, whether you're on iOS, Android, etc. So it's platform agnostic from being a great voice, video, collaboration platform. And I know a lot of creative teams, of course, are going to be, probably spending a lot of their time in the Apple ecosystem, but we build, directly for that from a team's perspective, of course.
I do see that there's been quite a few questions about how to actually utilize the plugin. So we included a direct link in the Q&A, and then that allows you to connect Monday to Adobe, and then even further to connect it to Teams.
I'll add to that. There's some questions on what Adobe apps are supported. So there's Creative Cloud files and libraries that are going to be accessible within Microsoft Teams, as well as Word and PowerPoint. And those applications will support workflows for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Adobe XD, and also some notification workflows for Adobe Acrobat files. So if you actually pair a link to any of these Creative Cloud file types using the Microsoft Teams connector, you'll get notifications on any events, any activity on that particular asset. And that can be a notification if someone comments on a Creative Cloud document, or it could be an update to a file, or if someone mentions someone. So you can keep track of everything that's going on with that particular creative asset that the team may be working on. For the monday.com plugins, they support plugins for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, as well as Premiere Pro. And these are in-app extensions that would run within the Adobe apps. And I think you can refer to what Juan is posting up on the chat for more information on the plugins.
Yep, well said. And soon Adobe XD as well.
So I'm just scrolling through to see if there's any other questions here that we haven't kind of already hit, thematically at least.
I'm seeing a question from AJ asking about versioning. So I'll read it out loud. When submitting multiple asset variations, does it keep just the latest version, or is there a versioning system so we know the one we are looking at is the latest and approved item? You can have a versioning workflow set up on Monday, and it won't necessarily replace the item or the file once you save it through the plugin. You can keep every version in there as it gets revised and comments are added. And whether you have a standardized workflow and you have typical 3 to 4 versions you go through, or it might just be a one-off, you can definitely save that to the latest version, just as easy as we change the status label to completed or working on it or submitted for revisions. When you save that file, you can change the versioning, status label to V2 or V3.
We did have a question about how we can quantify workload in the workload and resource management widget in the demo. So I do want to speak to that. When you build out Monday boards, it's completely customizable to your use case and your needs. And anything that you track, whether it's planned hours, level of effort, story points, you can then build out a workload widget and track that or use that as the KPI. So it would be able to say that if you have a project over a couple of weeks, it would then spread out that effort over that time and allow you to kind of closely monitor that.
Just saw a question on how we go about downloading the plugin. I will be posting a link to a great little knowledge base article that walks you through it, but it doesn't have to be a corporate or enterprise account. It's available for all Adobe accounts. It's rather easy to install, and the plugin will run alongside any other setup you have on those apps, so you can always reference it as you work through it.
Yeah, and I'll also post a link also how you can get Monday into Teams as well. I'll grab that too.
So Daniel and team, are there any other questions that you can see in the queue that you want to answer at this time, or?
There's a lot.
Yeah, I think we're going through them. There's actually a lot of. It's a great interaction. There's a lot of questions coming in.
Great.
I think we've gotten through thematically. I'll kind of let my colleagues kind of jump in here as well. I'm just looking for one more link I'm going to post in here really quick, just on the Adobe Creative Cloud, and I think we'll have a lot of those in here.
Okay.
Just to speak really quickly about annotations, in the demo, we did show that you are able to make annotations and comments on the actual image files themselves within Monday. So you can do that in the Monday board or in the Monday board embedded in Teams. So anybody who has access to either one of those would be able to access that annotation.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, just really quickly, off of Nelson's point for annotations, I've seen a couple of questions, and I'll publish them now, regarding the updates and mentions. The current plugin doesn't have this feature enabled, but it is on our roadmap and it will be available soon. So soon you'll be able to not only update save files and update the actual work as it gets completed, but you'll also be able to go into the updates and tag and provide that feedback within the plugin while you're using the Adobe products.
And I just posted links there as well directly to App Source, where you can get the directly have installed the Monday into Teams, and also Adobe Creative Cloud. I just posted both those as well.
I'm also seeing a lot of questions having to do specifically with permissions, with people who have a certain account with Adobe but not with Teams, or with Teams and not Monday. I'm going to direct any questions that we have to a portal where you can reach out and ask specifically about kind of permissions, account access, and things like that. And I just provided that in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I think we'll ensure that also. I think in follow-up emails that we have, we can make sure we have links to those. I think that was a great call out to places where we can kind of just post our general FAQs on some of these and make sure we're addressing them. Great. Juan and Minson, anything else we want to publish and kind of address right now?
I've seen a couple of questions just regarding the exact setup we had in the demo environment. So just at a high level, depending on how your team operates, you can have like an approval step or an action step, notify MS Teams. Maybe for part of the process, you want to just work within Adobe or Adobe and Monday. So just to kind of make sure that we're all aligned here, it's the workflow we demonstrated just shows one of the ways that you can have cohesive teamwork across different platforms. But what that eventually looks like can be, team dependent or workflow dependent. So I saw a couple questions on that and want to make that a little clear.
And there may be some questions that remain unanswered. We'll make sure to go through this, and for the Adobe Creative Cloud side, we'll include in a follow-up email that I think the monday.com team is preparing. So we'll make sure any FAQs are in there, and we'll try to address it there.
Agreed. Thank you again for everyone's participation and really for a lot of the interaction and the questions. A lot of great engagement and questions coming through here. So it's great. And we may have not been able to answer everyone. I think thematically we've answered a lot of these, hopefully. But it's good to see the interest in this cross cloud collaboration. This is great.
And I just added appropriate links for those knowledge base articles, questions, and where to download the plugin. And I do want to thank everyone for the wonderful questions. There were a lot, so it was really great to get such engagement. So we really appreciate it here.
I agree. I echo that.
Yeah, I would +1 that. Really great questions and engagement today.
Thank you, everyone.
Great, thanks team. Appreciate this very informative session. Just a reminder to our audience that the recording of this session and a copy of the presentation deck will be available within 5 to 7 business days. Please look for an email with details in the coming days on how to access those. I'd like to extend a big thank you to all of our presenters today, and thank you audience for logging in and joining us. Please stay safe and have a great rest of your day or evening. This will end the session. Goodbye.